Hola, everybody. Happy Cinco de
Look
Mayo.
how you do that.
Sí, muy bien. Yeah.
Did you practice that in the
How do you
way
say
that just
Feliz
flow right?
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felicia.
Feliz
Almost
Cinco de Mayo. It sounds like it's very basic.
I think it sounds really good.
Welcome to Lock
It came
Pod.
off your lips just
That's
great,
right.
man.
Indiana's Most Dangerous Podcast. I actually find myself speaking Spanish in Mexican restaurants now.
Whoa.
Just the basics.
I mean, you've had a tutor.
I did. Yeah. I'm an expert at Spanish 1. I don't know if you guys realize that.
That's more than
Spanish
me.
2, Spanish 3, Spanish 4. No.
I wish my Spanish was better. Season 9, episode 5, by the way.
Yeah.
Action-packed.
Deseo, español, hablo.
I mean, like, buen dia.
Tad, un poco.
Buenos
better.
tardes.
Bien.
You know.
All right. See, I speak like I figured this out. In Spain, if I went to Mexico and spoke Spanish, I would speak like a 3-year-old.
Well,
I'd be like one word, like water, bathroom. That's as good as it gets for me.
What's
but
bathroom?
Like you could understand 3-year-olds.
Baño? What's bathroom?
Baño.
Oh,
Baño. ¿Dónde está el baño?
You got it. You get it. That's more than a 3-year-old.
Hola, Jill.
Hola, Jill. Are you on?
Deseo coffee, por favor.
How about now?
Did you cut me off?
There we go.
See, that's more than a 3-year-old.
Deseo coffee, por favor.
I think
That's
you're
good.
at like a 7-year-old.
Okay, maybe 5-year-old.
Not bad, though.
This is the
'Cause,
graph
like,
you guys wanted me to get ready.
that's
It's
the
like
one.
all
Yes.
blurred out.
But like,
Well,
so we get the point. Hi, Jill.
This is
How's
the
it going?
original size.
You're like John's
Put that on
jumping
that side.
stories.
Sorry. You know it's going to be a good show when during the intro song, Tom's like, all right, we start with the woman having the orgasm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
strap in. This show is going to be nuts.
The cool thing is,
Strap in.
we've gotten the audience trained to this
Strap
point where whenever one of these stories comes up, they just send it to us
Yeah, I love it.
because they're like, "This is a Lockpod story."
We get some really good stuff from people.
like we don't even have to do our show anymore. We just like take your shit and we
Keep-
put it into a show.
Keep them coming because
Yeah, honestly,
keep them
we do
coming.
appreciate it.
that's right, John.
Speaking
Strap
of
in.
coming,
Excuse me.
you know,
See,
I
say that
guarantee
in
you.
Spanish.
I said the 5-year-old.
Okay.
I don't think
You're right. A
5-year-old
5-year-old have no idea. how
No,
to-
they have no idea what
Good
that
point.
means. Right. I personally think this next story you're hearing is planted by the San Francisco Symphony Harmonic.
L.A.
Oh, L.A.? I thought it was San Francisco.
L.A. Phil.
Okay.
That's what-
I
so-
think I'm a skeptic. And when I see this, we're going to talk about a woman having an orgasm in the audience because of the vibrations of the music.
Well,
And
not necessarily.
I think this is a ploy to ticket sales, increase ticket sales, personally.
Let me read just one little bit before we hear the audio. So the LA Philharmonic's online program notes include the description of the second movement of Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5.
It was moving.
The luscious main theme was adapted for a popular love song. Tchaikovsky's skillful orchestration, however, lifts the mood from sentimentality to high romanticism. The movement's principal melody is presented in a memorable solo by the horn, followed by other appealing woodwind solos.
Okay, before you play this, though, when I go to a symphony, I don't get that stuff.
When you go to a symphony,
I've been to
can't
them,
tell you.
but like, if you were telling me that like he was like trying to create moods, I just hear music. I don't know what. the
yeah,
hell
I
they're
mean,
trying
it's
to
like
tell me.
it's so high, like level.
I'm happy when I like go to Phantom of the Opera and I can understand what they're doing. Like that to me is a success story.
I'm cannot. Say, I took a pretty good music class in college that was interesting about like music and movements and things like that, but I don't remember it. And I'm the same way. If I go to the symphony, it's very interesting to me, but I'm not getting it.
I don't get it like this. And I certainly don't have orgasms when I'm listening to it.
So background here before we play the
You're going to
audio.
the wrong ones,
They
okay.
had,
I am going to the wrong. I didn't even know this was possible
You're like,
until today.
wait a minute. When's
See, Marissa
Tchaikovsky's-
takes me to boring ones, dude. Like I get that now.
But come see the Northwest Indiana Symphony at the Pavilion
Yeah.
this summer.
If they play
Yeah,
Tchaikovsky's
right.
Symphony No. 5, that you need to request that specifically.
Hell
Joe.
yeah, right?
Like they have to be playing
It's a
that.
science experiment at this
Increase
point.
the bass.
So, yes. That was good.
Thanks.
So the what happened allegedly was there was a very loud noise by a woman in the middle of this Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5, and there's kind of back and forth on whether it was an orgasm or not. So we'll let you guys decide.
Was it like okay?
Yeah.
Because she was sitting with her boyfriend.
Correct.
So was this just the music, or was there other
We
factors?
don't. Right. That's the debate. Or whether
Because it's San Francisco, they shit on the
LA,
sidewalks there. Oh,
LA.
excuse me. They shit on the sidewalks there too, bud.
Well, I don't know if that has anything to do with going to the symphony, but I mean, I guess.
No, what I'm trying to say is it's a different standard out there.
Okay, sure. You're
all right.
Hey,
So
fair.
like they could have been playing games. for all
Absolutely.
we
We
know.
don't know.
All right.
So
we
here-
don't know this.
Well, there's a debate.
Because if it's the music, I'm getting tickets.
All right, here we go. Let's go. John, put it up. Crank it.
Okay, here we go.
First 5 seconds of this.
Not playing. Let me
Reboot.
Let me reboot.
Oh man,
Reboot.
we
There
like
we
set
go.
it all
That
up.
was a great lead up too.
I know, dude. I was like all primed.
It's these freaking websites, man. Look at this.
All right. Well, here we go. All right.
All right, here we go.
There's an ad. Keep talking. There's an ad.
All right, there's an
all
ad.
right.
All right.
So
Man,
there's a
dude,
debate.
I
So
was
like,
really
Now it's
worked
not
up.
even loading.
It said it is unclear what exactly occurred in the audience. The LA Times has contacted the Philharmonic for comment. Other audience members disputed the orgasm theory, offering that the woman could have made the noise while waking after having fallen asleep, which could happen at the symphony.
You wake up like this, right?
Some worried it could have been related
That's
to a medical
how-
condition like
that's how I wake up.
narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy. But like, come on. All right.
I think we're ready.
All right, here we
All
go.
right.
Let's see if it
Here we go.
works. What? Do it again.
Yep.
So this
yeah,
is what
I'm
somebody
buying tickets
said.
for sure.
Pretty quickly, she sort of fell onto her partner's shoulders and then onto his lap, and then her body went limp.
What?
Maybe like 5 seconds later, she kind of awoke, and that's when she let out a scream. There you go. Somebody said it was beautiful.
They have different standards out there, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
They didn't interview this woman?
Like, come on, we need to find her. Wouldn't
It'd
it be great if we
it'd
can
be
get her?
great to
as
get her
a
on
guest?
Lockpod.
Bring her on Lockpod. Let's find this lady.
Oh boy.
Let's get our our team of aggressive reporters after her.
What do you think, chat? Orgasm or not?
one more time.
Okay. Oh God.
Oh,
Kevin,
boy.
you put me on the spot.
Well, here, if you're not ready yet.
Jeez, Pete.
wow.
There you go.
Yeah, man, that was pretty
It's
powerful.
for our Lockpod audience to determine.
That was a powerful movement. I'm not even used to saying movement.
No,
Yeah,
you got to be careful.
I know.
Do the bass again.
What's that?
Heavy bass.
All right, let's go. Let's go. We had election day last show.
Yes, and you were fired. I want to say you were fired up.
Last show? Yeah,
Yes.
I was.
You
You
were a little-
think?
I have anger issues with Bob Markovich, obviously.
Yeah.
I do, man.
I-
The guy treated me like garbage for 16 years. Let's keep that in mind, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He was an asshole to me for a long time, and then he lost, and I was happy. All right, and we did 4 years with the new council without Markovich, and it was a lot better. Okay, so and I was, by the way, Bob Markovich, when he left the council, I was a professional to him. I was always nice to him. I was a good mayor. I was complimentary. I would introduce him in public as a former councilman. I was doing all my normal mayor stuff.
Sure, I agree
even
with
though
that.
even though I despise him because of what he did to me for 16 years. 16 years. Okay, that's a long time, guys. All right. So for 4 years, I'm a gentleman and I'm professional. And then Bob Markovich says, "Hey, I'm going to run for council again." And now he's running against my friends, who have been professional and supportive and pro Hammond and
A lot easier to work with.
not petty. And I went off on him and I told the truth. And I hope it had an effect on election day. I really do. I don't know if it did, but I hope it did because he didn't deserve to win. And what I said, maybe it was over the top. I acknowledge.
You got rolling a little bit.
I repeated myself a few times about what a jerk I thought he was, and I didn't say jerk. Okay, but like I went off last show. I acknowledge, but he deserved that because of 16 years of torture he put
So
me
it was
through.
your chance to let it out.
And he lost.
on
And I
election
hope
day.
I hope I was a small part of it. I hope I'm a small part of why he lost. I really do because he deserved it.
I'm going to assume we didn't get your vote.
No, he did not get my vote. Absolutely not.
There was a lot of interesting, I thought, election night.
It was a good election night.
Yeah.
By the way, I had a perfect. I'm not bragging, but like we all match up. And you and I didn't match up. Were you? I mean, I literally hit every race. I
I was
participated
really,
in. Every race.
I was hoping the council was going to stay as is.
But I picked, unfortunately, and I love Pete Torres, but I did pick Salinas to win in our pool, so to speak, because
Not that you were like
no, I wasn't
right?
hoping. I just felt that wasn't going to be good for us.
I thought really interesting. We've talked about the train issues. We talked to him, pretty in depth the other day. On election day, we had Scott in here, and we talked about it before
won.
that as
He
well.
won.
And you've talked
Lockpod
about, and I
audience.
think that was
Scott
interesting
won.
because you kind of described that as a referendum on the Hessville Bridge.
You know what was interesting about that, Kevin? We did describe that race as a referendum on the bridge, and you and John Vesmar were under attack because you guys are a couple hacks that doctored a poll and sent it all around Hessville. And this poll that we used to justify why we were doing was a total obvious hack job, according to Ken Rosick and his followers, that we weren't fair, we were biased, we were trying to lead people into voting the way we wanted, and guess what? The poll results and Scott's victory were exactly the same.
John, we've been exonerated.
You've been exonerated.
We're only hacks to some now.
God.
Dude, seriously, though. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, I mean,
Literally,
I was-
the poll results are almost exactly identical to the victory.
And I appreciate that, Mayor. I think that John and I, obviously, we talked about the fact that we really were, as we always are, fair on these polls, because that's how you direct us to make sure that they are. And
We don't want to lead. We want to do the right thing.
well, you're right. We want to know what the public feels about certain issues.
Right.
But I just was really happy that Scott won. I was really happy that I thought those numbers were close to what the numbers were in the poll. And I think it shows you that just because the people that support the bridge and support the solution to the railroads issue in Hessville, just because they don't come out and scream and yell at a public meeting doesn't mean they're not out there.
Right. Exactly.
So, congrats to Scott.
So we had
congrats to the at-large folks.
So Scott won, and I know he was on the show that day. Our at-larges won. That we were, we lost Pete Torres to Al Salinas the third, and basically Pete was running against a team of Al Salinas's, which didn't help. There's 3 of them out there working the second district. The grandpa, who's a great guy,
Senior.
the dad, who was a councilman for a long time in the city of Hammond, and the son, and they were literally 3 of them working the third district, the second district hard, and Pete, who's an older gentleman, who was basically him and his small team were trying to keep up, and it wasn't. So I sent Salinas. I think there's hard feelings between us. I sent him a text the other day. It's like, hey, congratulations. You're going to do a great job for Hammond. Blah blah blah. Normal like good mayor stuff. No response.
Yeah.
No response, which is fine. Honestly, you know what? I'm going to teach him math
Well,
real soon.
the
He's
good
going to
thing
learn
is-
how to count to 9 and what that means.
4 years of 4
Seriously,
years of
man.
hopefully working on that relationship.
He's going to learn math real quick.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting, right? When you have somebody in that you didn't support, there's always a little friction, I think, at the beginning, and hopefully you work through
I don't
that
have
and
friction.
can-
I'm just, you know what? I have a great relationship with the Hammond Council. If he wants to come in and be solo, 8-1, he's going to learn what that means.
What'd you think about Gary?
I was expecting it. I mean,
Really?
Jerome's.
And you've had a good relationship with Mayor Prince and-
I absolutely.
We've
had
had
a good-
Eddie on.
And Mayor Prince is a great guy and
Senator
a friend of
Melton.
mine. I like Mayor Prince as a person. He's a great man. I love his wife Deanna. I think he did fine as mayor. I don't think he had a lot of help. Being honest, we're just being frank, right?
Of course.
just us.
Just
right?
us in the
Just
Just
us in
us
the
kids.
audience.
Just
In the
us
world.
kids.
Just
right?
us in the Lockpot audience.
I think Jerome did
in the
everything
world.
he could to be a good mayor, Gary. I really do. I don't think he was given a chance at all by his council from the moment he walked in.
And you've said that before. Like when there's friction between the mayor and a council, it makes it a lot harder to get things done for the city.
Yeah,
You know.
my council and my administration has a great relationship, and which is why you're seeing things get done in Hammond. And Gary, the day Jerome Prince walked in the mayor's office, the council had it out for him. And if that was the case in Hammond, I would not be successful. I would not.
Well, you've even seen it with like ARP money, for example.
And
You
I'm
know?
not blaming
No,
anybody.
this is
I don't
more
know
of
whose fault it is.
This is just more of this is kind of like a practical aspect of what happens when you have issues and things aren't running smoothly. I mean, sometimes you might argue the council was right, not necessarily, or the mayor's wrong. But it just, this is what happens when you don't have that like kumbaya between the
Right.
council and the mayor. And like I brought up the example of ARP money. ARP money did not get spent in Gary like it did in Hammond.
No.
And a lot of that had to
I
do
read
with,
that they got 80 out, by the way, which
Yeah.
is more than I thought they did.
me too. I didn't realize that.
But it's been over 2 years. It's, like Hammond, anyway.
Yeah,
I just
so
think,
it's interesting.
but no, I'm not making excuses. No, I already said why I don't think Jerome was given a fair shake. I did say that, and that's how I feel, honestly, but it doesn't matter how I feel because I don't live in Gary. But I do also want to talk about Eddie Melton.
Mm-hmm.
He ran an amazing campaign.
He really did. It kind of reminded me of like a statewide or a national campaign.
It reminded me of our first race.
Yep. It was from that perspective, yeah.
So you have a combination of a mayor that doesn't get along with his council. Let's just put it that way. I don't know whose fault it was, but obviously Jerome and his council didn't get along. And then you have Eddie Melton, who's a very popular elected official in Gary, who puts together one of the best campaigns I've seen in Lake County in a long, long time, including, I'm talking about the last race I saw that reminded me of that was Tom McDermott running in 2003.
Yeah,
Okay?
and I thought
that was a good race for us, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really, I thought, really well-run race. I mean, we've had Markell and Senator Melton on here.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll have him on again as the mayor-elect.
Yeah.
And, I always have that feeling when there's a new mayor coming to Gary. I'm like, all right, you feel hopeful and you feel like, let's go, and hopefully they can really make a dent and really make a good run at getting that city back. And I know Eddie's committed to that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
I want to get him back on the show. He
Yeah.
knows that. He's
Yeah,
taking,
yeah.
Obviously, he's taking time off right now.
Absolutely.
He ran his ass off between the session that he just did as a senator and he was running. He didn't have a day off in the last 5 months.
Well, the other good thing, I think, for Gary is, unlike when you became mayor the first time in 2003, we had about 50 days to transition.
Right.
There's not going to be, don't get me wrong. Okay, I got to be careful here because there is a Republican candidate in Gary in the fall.
Yeah, there is, whatever.
The true statement, though, is that most
It's
likely
over.
It's over.
It's going to be 96-4.
Sure. I would
Okay,
think.
this person has no chance. So, let's just get Eddie is mayor-elect.
So it
He
allows Senator Melton to really take time to prepare for that transition during the next 8 months.
And we saw Jerome
Or
Prince
7
do
months.
the same thing.
Mhm.
And listen, this is the interesting thing about Gary. And I said it during Jerome's ascension. Okay, Jerome got elected. He beat Karen Freeman Wilson in the primary. And then between May and January 1st, when you get sworn in, you are basically king of Lake County, the mayor-elect of Gary. You are like
a
every
rock star.
newspaper is just kissing your ass. Lockpod wants you as a guest. WJOB wants you as a guest.
And that's saying something.
Everybody's fighting to get you. Okay, that was Jerome Prince 4 years ago. Okay, and then on January 1st, something magical happens. Okay, Jerome Prince 4 years ago on January 1st raised his right arm to a packed audience of adoring fans, and then he said, I am the mayor of Gary. And when he puts his hand down, 50% of the audience starts MFing him on the spot. 2 weeks later, 60% of that audience hates him. And then 4 years later, you're vulnerable.
Well, and I think that's always
that's the fact.
Yeah, and I think that's the challenge, and I think that's interesting to say that because I'm curious on how Senator Melton will or will not happen, and we'll see what happens.
I hope it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm a skeptic.
Well, we've seen it over time. We've seen it over 20 years.
I've seen it over time.
Yeah.
I saw it with Mayor Karen Freeman. Obviously, I came in with Scott King, Rudy Clay, Mayor Karen, Jerome Prince. That's how long I've been mayor. This is my, sixth Gary mayor?
No.
5? King, Rudy, Karen, Jerome,
5.
Eddie. This is my 5th Gary mayor.
All right.
How long have I been mayor? I've been mayor
long time.
5 different administrations in Gary. So,
well, and again, that's another thing that Hammond has benefited, I think, from the consistency and the ability. The increased kind of learning curve the learning curve isn't as steep, right? You took one term, probably a learning curve, and then it's keep moving. So
I'm operating at a pretty high level.
Thank you,
now.
Hammond.
I really feel like I'm operating at a high level. Stuff that I couldn't have done when I first became mayor, I could do way easily or way more easily now. Like get Lil Wayne to play a concert in your city.
Whoa.
Could have done that as brand new mayor.
No.
Hey, we're going to do ads, and then when we come back, I'm going to try not to lose my job. So it should be interesting. Let's we're
gonna wade into gender issues.
Yeah, we're gonna wade into gender issues, and we got a story to tell, and it's consistent with what's going on in the country, and I'm gonna do my best not to get run out of town.
Step in it.
So,
Step in it. Don't step in it.
I agree.
Let's do some ads.
Let's go.
All right. Prestmer Insurance Company, the Ron J. Prestmer Insurance Agency, has been located for decades right on the best end of the boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestmer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses in all Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ronnie or Michael at 219-844-0103.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local experts.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
That blows my mind, Kevin.
You want to read the bug guy while I'm sending this to you?
Yeah, that blows my mind. It doesn't blow my mind. Wow. Okay.
Secrets don't make friends.
No, this is something that's going to come out. I don't know if it should come out today or should it come out today?
Nah, we'll wait on it. But
Holy
I'm gonna send
crap! This is going to be a Lockpod episode.
it to you. Yes.
What?
I just saw it. It's my new councilman. So,
great.
the bug guy pest control. I told you he didn't text me back. Well, I just saw something. So, warmer temperatures mean unwanted guests such as ants, spiders, wasps, mosquitoes, and more. Shut down their party before they get started. A comprehensive pest plan from the bug guy will help you enjoy the great outdoors as well as the indoors all summer long. To solve your pest problem or start a preventative plan, call the bug guy today and tell the pest that he's on the way. Call Brian at 219-810-7481.
Calumet Brewing. Whether you're on the golf course or just spending a day in the sun, Michelob Ultra with only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and 4.2% ABV is the perfect beer for a summer day. Michelob Ultra brews a light lager that's worth every single sip. So, no matter if you're kicking back after a long workout, a pickup game at the park, or a day out on the fairways, you're sure to enjoy this great light beer. Don't just drink it, enjoy it. Head over to Cal Brew on Facebook and find the golf bag post for your chance to win through May 12th. You can also head over to the Michelob Ultra website and social media pages for details on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
Powering America. Are you looking for a new career in 2023? Earn a competitive wage while you gain valuable hands-on experience as an electrician. Did we mention employer-paid benefits, including health insurance, pension, and an annuity? If so, visit jact697.org, sponsored by Powering America.
What are you guys smiling about?
Something
Tom's
Kevin blew
smiling.
my mind.
I'm
Kevin blew
not.
my mind. Kevin blew my mind with something that I have to take care of.
One of our listeners texted me.
I love that listener, whoever that is. Who is that? Acknowledge.
Mm-mm.
No?
No,
Thank you
he
to
said
the
no.
listener. We by the way, Lockpod wouldn't be Lockpod without listener input. And we just got something that's going to be a story. Okay? So, but I'm not going to drop it right now.
All right, we're going to
But
wait
it
on
doesn't surprise me, but it does.
All right,
buckle up,
wait for
John.
the next episode of
Whoa.
Lockpod, Season
Whoa.
9, Episode 6.
All right. I'm trying to figure out a way to get into this the right way.
There is no right way.
There's been
Okay.
a lot. How about this? This issue has become a hot button issue, an issue that I didn't think was going to blow up like this. That was
The
going to
issue
become
is that
dominant in our political debate.
We start by talking about, it's transgender issues, right?
Yeah.
And now it seems like in sports, particularly biologically born males that transition and become women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the issue is, I quite frankly, I know somebody that's done this. Okay. And I support this person a lot. I support her a lot. And I've done the right thing as mayor. And it's the only time I've been married 20 years. It's the only time I ever had anything like this. And I'm not going to talk about this person at all because it's not. But like I was tested with this issue in my 20 years as mayor, and I did the right thing. Okay, and I'm not even going to get more into detail.
I agree.
Okay, but like I've done 60,000 things in 20 years as mayor, and I've had one instance of this come up. So for me, is this an issue? Yeah, this is going on. Is this something that's important to my job every day? No. It's not even close to, it's not even close to the most important thing I deal with in a year.
You're not saying it's not important to the people that are affected by it, but you're just saying.
Of course it's important to the people it's affected by.
Mm-hmm.
But is this something that I have to think about when I wake up in the morning? Something I'm worried about the next day? No, this is such a minor issue in the overall scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
But in government, this issue, transgenderism, when people are transitioning from one sex to the other, is like the thing that the Republicans want to talk about right now.
Yeah, I think it's, and that's an interesting way to put it, Mayor, is because to me, if you go back even all the way to like Newt Gingrich, the GOP has decided that their best way, and this is just Kevin talking here, but their best way to get votes is to find out what the wedge issue of the day is.
Yep.
And run with it and make it into like a party identifier, right? So like when Newt Gingrich took on abortion and the Republican Party became the party of pro-life, they said, right? Because I remember back in the 70s and 80s, I remember that families that were Democrats that were pro-life. Mm-hmm. And you had all these Democrats. It wasn't a party issue. Then in the 2000s, it was gay marriage. Mm-hmm. We're the party of family. Mm-hmm. We're the party of, we have to keep the family, the nuclear family together.
Right.
And now they're taking on transgenderism and saying we're the party that's going to protect women.
Right.
We're the and they
Women's
do
sports,
a very
right?
they do a very good job. The GOP does at saying what's the wedge issue of the day. Identify our party with what we think mainstream America is going to be,
right?
And then, even though it's probably a small issue, and then run with it.
Jill, have you ever dealt with this issue?
I have not.
Ever, like, in your career? Not as a teacher, not as an employee of the
How about as a coach of softball?
A coach of softball?
Nope.
Coach of volleyball?
Nope.
How about this? So LGBTQ, you've dealt with plenty of times, right?
Oh yeah, I have kids. Yeah.
The kids that are openly, you know.
John,
right.
can you put up the very blurry chart?
Yeah.
John, have you ever dealt with this issue?
No.
Personally or professionally?
No.
All right. So this chart, it's just interesting, and I don't want to characterize it the way the chart says, but it's characterized as anti-LGBTQ bills introduced in state legislatures each session. And from 2018, there's 42. 2023,
that's nationwide, by the way.
417. So it's a tenfold increase over 5 years. And I think this just goes to show you. I mean, look at Indiana this year.
Right.
Look around the country, and it's always put out by the GOP, and it's always. I think a
John,
way
you
to
can't
just
be. You
make
can't
it.
be
I think it's their wedge issue.
You can't be disagreeing with
And
Kevin.
John, I'm not. And by
Hold
the
on,
way,
hold on, Kevin,
I'm not
hold
being
on.
critical of that. I'm just saying that's what they're doing now. This is
You
their
don't
wedge
disagree
issue.
with Kevin on that, do you, John?
Yes.
What? You don't? I think Kevin's being real reasonable on this.
To say what you're saying, you
He
have to also
did it's an effort by the
Hold on,
GOP.
Yeah, to say what
you're
I'm saying.
you have to also acknowledge, Tom, for such a fraction of what this is, like the population.
Yes.
It's being shoved down our throats in every
Okay.
aspect
But
of
John,
America.
okay,
It
hold on.
depends on where it comes
It's
from.
on Bud Light cans.
Okay. No, it's not. First off, it's not.
not on
there
Bud
was
Light
one
cans.
can made that way, and
One
it was
single
never.
can.
It was
And
never.
it was blown up by the GOP.
It
as
was
like,
never like put out, and I'm not taking a side here. I'm trying to mediate between you two. Okay, so John. So what Kevin's saying is it's a GOP-led effort to push these bills because it's a good wedge issue.
And I'm
that
saying
they-
it's not. I'm saying it's a response.
And John's saying that it's such a small minority of the population, an ultra small minority of the population, for it to be shoved down our throat like it's mainstream America
the woke
is wrong.
mob.
I think
Right.
you're both right.
So, but I
Jill,
would say this.
hold on,
though.
hold on, Kev, hold
Yeah,
on.
Sorry.
Jill, do you agree? Do you think both of them are a little bit right when they say that?
Sure.
I do too. For the record, let us be the judge. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine. No, I just want to
Mr.
say one more thing.
Prosecutor.
No, I want to say one more thing. I wanted to say that, and I think the Democrats are very bad at getting sucked into what the Republicans want them to do.
I agree with you. Do you agree? Well, John, I don't know if you can take a position on that because I agree with Kevin as a Democrat that we get sucked into this wedge issue,
Yes.
and then we look like we're the party that's protecting biologically born males that want to swim against biologically born females, and the biologically born male sets the world record for female
and
swimmers.
they say, see, that's what the Democrats are doing. And in
Right.
reality, I
Right.
think as a Democrat, what to me, the issue is you don't want to see anybody discriminated against. I'm not saying Republicans do, John. I'm just saying, Democratic Party's like, look, we just want to have a big tent, make sure everyone's treated fairly. And I agree with that.
I agree with you too.
But
Kev.
it doesn't mean that you have to go out on a limb and say this. This is the issue of the day.
As
Okay.
a general
There's
rule of
so
thumb,
many
I
other
agree
important
too,
issues.
Kevin. Some Republicans have forgotten, if they're so conservative and religious, love one another.
There you
They've
go.
forgotten
Right,
it
yeah.
completely.
Interesting.
You guys are being very rational.
Well,
You can disagree with trans. You can say I don't agree with it from a religious aspect. You still have to love people.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm still learning about it.
Okay,
Right?
can we jump into this a little
yes,
bit now?
Yes.
'Cause
I
we
just
haven't
want to
even
make
jumped
sure that we are.
We're on the
I think we're
record.
previewing it in
We're
a good
on the
way.
record. We're on the record.
Talking about politics.
And
here.
I'm like the rational, reasonable one.
wow.
We've learned that.
That's something.
Tom
Jill
let
and
it
I.
all out against Markovich
That's right,
last
that's
Tuesday.
right.
On Tuesday.
Okay, so this really got my goat when I saw a GOP-led bill in the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, keep in mind, the GOP leads the House of Representatives, so they could pass things out of the House of Representatives as long as they do it party line, okay?
Yeah.
So they float a bill that says Title IX, which is a federal law, will not allow biologically born males in any school that accepts federal money, which is all colleges.
Sure.
Right? And maybe some high schools. I imagine some high schools, right? In fact, I know most high schools. Title IX requires you, if you're born male, you cannot, under this new federal law being proposed by the GOP, swim or compete against biologically born females. That it's basically against the law. And it passes the House of Representatives by party line vote. Every single Republican voted for it, and every single Democrat voted against it, which pisses me off I'm glad I'm not there.
It's just
I would have
falling
been
into that issue. It's
but
falling into
Kevin,
that trap.
if I was there, I would have been that asshole that's like, I'm not voting. I can't we all like have individual thoughts about
Well, how about
this?
this? How
I don't
about-
think it's right. I support women. I support women's sports. I think that if you're born male and you're competing against a woman that was born female, the born male has an advantage that the woman doesn't have. And I don't think it's right that if you're born male and you have testosterone flowing through your body, that even though you're a female because you transitioned, that you're competing against a woman.
Well, you don't see it the other way. You don't see like women transitioning to men that are competing in men's sports,
Right.
and this is an issue. So the other thing I was going to say about this is that it's to me it's like a grandstanding by the House majority, and they have the right to do that. By the way, they have
Why?
the right to push
Why
this
is
to
it
a vote
grandstanding?
because they just want to. They want to.
It's strategic.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
positioning everyone.
Yeah.
Here, every Democrat voted against it.
But
We voted for.
But why does every Democrat vote against it? Because America doesn't feel that way.
Right, and that
America doesn't
they
feel that way.
like they have to be on record saying that. And I don't think
Why?
they need to.
You
be.
have to be 100%
What
like
I
robots?
think, I think that this should be, and this is what I meant by grandstanding is this. This should be left to the NCAA. This should be left to the college. I mean, why legislate this into law? Let the sporting, let the NCAA do it, and they should do. They should do something.
Then, Kev. Let's take a step forward. Okay. The next story is about a young lady named Riley Gaines.
You're doing good on this, by the way.
Biologically born female named Riley Gaines, who is a swimmer, a collegiate athlete swimmer. Okay. Now she's competing against a biologically born male. His name
Who
is
set a world record?
Leah Thomas is her name now. He was born a male. When she was born, he was a male. He transitioned to female. Her name is Leah Thomas. She's competing against Riley Gaines, who is a biologically born female, a competitive swimmer, and they tied at a record tie. So now they both tied. They both get the same medal, and they both feel real good. But Riley's like, wait a second, I'm an actually born biological female, and I'm competing against Leah, who was born male. And for the first 18 or so years of her life, had testosterone and muscle of a male. Now she's competing against me, but she still has that muscle, still had that testosterone going through her body, and now we tied. And Riley Gaines, the biologically born female, says this isn't fair. I shouldn't have to share the glory with somebody who was born a man. So Riley Gaines goes to San Francisco State, which is the heart of the movement, right?
Yeah.
And gives a speech that basically says, I don't think it's fair that I'm competing against a biologically born male and I'm sharing my title.
And I think it's like, it is a free and open debate question. I think it's interesting to hear both sides of this.
But
And I
here's what happened.
But yeah, that's the problem, John. That's exactly
This
the
is-
problem I
this
have with
is
it.
what we're
is
gonna
here's
play.
what we have going after
happened.
the speech.
This is after Riley Gaines in San Francisco State is interrupted and can't complete her speech. She's literally run out of the school, and we're going to play a video for it. All right.
So that
You
was
get
like
the
at
idea.
8, that was like at 8 p.m. She finally got out of the barricaded classroom at 11:40 p.m. when the San Francisco State Police had to come and disperse the crowd. And it's just
They were like going to beat the shit out of her.
oh yeah.
Why? Because she said, I don't
said
think
the
it's fair.
obvious.
She said
So let's beat the shit out of her.
She said
like-
something so obviously true.
it's so bad for the I think it's really bad for the transgender movement. I think it's really bad for Democrats when you see that, because it's like, this is the reaction. This is what we're going to do. Go have a mob and a riot.
Here's the
and
problem.
run this girl out of town.
I tell you guys the problem. No one gets canceled for being too woke.
Oh.
You have people that say, you know what? I think men should be able to compete in women's sports, and everyone goes, yeah, no, that makes sense. I don't want to be the one to go against that.
Right.
I don't
True
want to go
story.
against it, because people
'Cause
that
then
do,
I'm gonna
they
get the
get
shit
chased
beat out
down
of
a
me, right?
hall.
There goes Lockpod.
Right.
This is crazy.
John, like, first off, I agree with Riley. Okay. I feel bad that she has to share her title with somebody that has testosterone and muscle of a man for 20 years or so.
I think we have to find a fair solution for everybody because I am absolutely
But Kevin,
against
how can we?
discriminating against
I am
people
too.
that are transitioning. I don't want to discriminate against anyone.
Of course,
but we have to find a
we
fair
were tested,
solution,
and we did a great job.
I think that's what I think what President Biden should be saying is like, I don't want to discriminate against anybody. Let's find a fair solution for everyone, including female athletes. By the way, for everyone,
Right?
Figure out the
if
solution.
you support women's athletics, like if you're born a man, like if I transitioned and competed against a woman, I'd feel real confident about my abilities against a biological woman of the same size. I would feel real confident in my abilities.
Yeah, and I want to say this too. By the way, I want to say that I think that transgender kids and people are being unfairly targeted, and I mean, there's like I saw a stat that like.
But you have to have rules, Kevin.
I agree. I think, but
So
there's two sides to this issue. But I agree with you. We need to have rules, and it needs to be fair for everyone. You can't say, "Oh, it's fair to transgender athletes," and then it not be fair to female athletes.
True story.
I think that's the
There
issue.
should be
It's
maybe
like,
a category
maybe,
for transgender
yeah,
athletes.
for now until we figure all this out. But
Right.
it's just not.
Because like right now, if all the records are being destroyed by transgender athletes
how
that were
is that
born
fair
male,
to women athletes?
they're going to destroy women's athletics.
Yeah.
What's
because
the point of male and female sports at this point? Just make it
Just make
sports.
it everyone.
Make
How
it
about
sports.
sports?
Imagine a woman playing against LeBron James. Honestly, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
He'd win by 50 points.
50.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
There's no point of gender-based sports anymore.
So like, but keep in mind now, guys, we're in politics, and the thing about politics is you got to win races. Okay, so John, you and I talked earlier about every Democrat in the House of Representatives, all of them, our congressman here in the first, Frank Mervan, every Democrat in the United States Congress voted to support, the
Yeah.
biological born male to compete against Riley Gaines, and I don't think America reflects that. But now the Democratic Party is like, hey, we're all in on this issue.
This goes back to what I was saying.
And here
Create
we
the
are.
wedge issue and
I
make it
know.
into a party identifier.
But we voted 100%. Wouldn't it have been better if
It's-
a couple broke away and said, listen, this is a complicated issue. I don't support discrimination at all, but I don't support destroying the record books of women's sports either. And have a couple Democrats break away.
Well,
Why
I mean-
can't Frank be our guy that says, listen, I don't know if the first congressional district feels this way, and you vote your conscience. What happens if you do that, Kevin?
God,
you get
can you imagine?
fucking destroyed.
But yeah,
if
you could be
if
pulled
you're
off
the
your
one,
committees, you could be pulled
if
off
you're
of-
the
right.
one Democrat that has balls enough to say, I'm not voting for this, I can't, I don't feel this way, they would freaking screw
think
you
about,
over.
Okay, think about gay marriage. For so long, Republicans were in lockstep against gay marriage. And then it took, what, John, 20 years maybe? And then,
Right.
and even people were still ripping Todd Young after, when was it, in January or February, where
Right.
he voted in favor
Right.
with some other Republicans. It was like, what are you doing?
He voted against his party.
Right. What are you
Which was
doing?
nice. I
We're-
texted him and I had a text conversation that day.
I mean, it's
I
like-
said, thank you for your vote.
But I'm saying, like, for the last 15 years before that, it was like a party
Of
identifier.
course.
If you're for gay marriage, you're a Democrat. If you're against gay marriage, you're a Republican. And
Can
that's
we-
what happened to abortion, too.
Can we take step 3 on this journey we're taking people on, which
Yes.
is the GOP is trying to seize on this now, and they're like, the Democrats 100% voted for this. We're going to take a position. It's on this wedge issue, and we're going to destroy the Democratic Party.
I thought this was fake.
Can I
Jill.
chime in before we go? to
Yes,
this?
please.
as a woman, as the only woman in the room.
Yeah.
Can we stop saying the country doesn't give a shit about women's sports unless it benefits an argument?
I don't know.
Okay.
Did you see that latest?
I don't give a shit.
NCAA?
Women's basketball,
Oh
man,
my
that was on
gosh.
fire.
That was impressive.
So that was a month ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's the only
so-
time they've cared about women.
Correct. When it benefits something, right? You go to fields, the women's athletics fields are shit compared to the boys. I think it was last year with the NCAA where a bunch of the
Yeah, they were in
the
a
female
shitty
they were in a
Soccer, they had the
Yeah.
women had to file suit for
Right, to
pay,
get equal pay.
Yeah, equal
Right.
pay.
correct. This country doesn't give a shit about female sports. They don't.
Okay.
And you're saying except when it benefits them for in this
Correct.
situation. Oh,
But
let's
do you
talk
think
about
that-
women's
okay,
support
but Jill,
women's sports against
as
transgender
long as we're talking about
athletes.
this, and I do enjoy some women's sports. I like golf personally. I like tennis. Personally,
Women's tennis, I like to watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Women's basketball is really into this tournament.
I don't mind
I
women's
get
basketball.
I get what Jill's saying though. It's when it benefits them politically or it benefits them to support them. All of a sudden, it's a big issue.
Okay,
That's
but
interesting.
despite that, Jill, do you think that Riley Gaines is right that she had to share her title with somebody that was born male and now is transitioned to female and is competing against Riley Gaines? Who's right in this one?
So let me preface this by saying I don't know when people transition, I don't know what that does to their biological make. I don't know any of that.
Fair
I'm
enough.
just- I'm
That's
just-
fair. And I don't either.
I don't either.
I don't either. So I'm
So
uneducated on that issue.
But what we do know
Correct.
is trans that get into women's sports are dominating.
We do know that.
They are setting
well,
records.
And
know
how
that.
many is that?
I would say at
mean-
least the ones we know about. I mean, there's probably,
Right.
I don't know if there's a million other that are losing. Who knows? But
So there's all like I was stronger and more dominant when I was in high school than a lot of the kids I played with, with against. There's always somebody that's going to be outworking you. There's always going to be somebody that's stronger than you. I just don't know that this is as.
Do you watch women's basketball, Jill?
I'm not I would rather watch softball, and it's never on TV.
Yeah, but like when I do watch women's basketball, and I don't watch basketball much at all, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But when I do, I notice one clear difference between the men's game and the women's game. It's men slam dunk and women don't, for the most part. Is that fair?
yeah, I think women's game is much more of a fundamental game.
But do you see slam dunks in a women's game as much as in a men's
Rarely.
game? Okay, so now let's say I'm a man and I can slam dunk, okay? And I transition to a female. Do I lose my ability to slam dunk?
Don't know the answer to
Don't
that.
know.
I don't think so.
I'm going to go with no.
I agree with John on this. I think I'm a female that can slam dunk.
Just the way we have to tiptoe around language in this conversation
Right,
just
right,
shows you how
right.
insane.
Right,
It's like,
right.
okay, so the trans, are they more dominant than cisgender female?
I don't even know what that means.
America
I don't
has
even know what that
gone
means.
Even these
insane.
like words, I'm like, oh,
Yes,
I don't
it's
even-
Okay.
unbelievable.
Hey, let's hit the play button on this. Now, this
Okay.
is the GOP's response to what's going on.
by somebody I can't stand, by the way.
America presents
I thought this was
Real
fake.
Women of Politics.
Real women of politics.
Today, we salute all the real woman leaders of this great country.
Real women don't have to fake it.
Real women. Doing real things.
Real women work too hard for this.
Some big companies can't tell the difference between real and fake anymore.
Real people know the difference.
That's why we're introducing the Real Women of Politics koozie.
Real women of politics.
Oh, it's just a way to raise money. There you go.
There
It's
you
got-
go.
It's just
Shut
a
up!
way.
It's a real commercial.
It's a real commercial. This is not fake.
It sounds like
it's got
the
4
old-
women governors on the koozie.
Yeah, it's like the old Miller Lite or Bud Light, like
right,
fake
right.
funny
but
commercials.
this
right?
is real.
Those were funny.
This is real, though, guys. This is a real thing. You could go to GOP websites and buy these koozies. And the purpose is, first off, it's got a woman governor on the koozie, and you put your Bud Light can in there, because Bud Light's the target nowadays. You put your Bud Light can into the koozie so that you can cover up the Bud Light label. That's the thinking behind this. And this is
America
real.
Kevin,
has
does
become a
Bud
meme.
Light have a lawsuit, or does Anheuser-Busch have a lawsuit?
I haven't looked that up. I do not know.
I mean, it seems very similar to their original.
That is interesting.
oh, you mean regarding this commercial?
Yeah. To the
commercial.
Yeah, I don't. It's probably a parody. I think parody.
Yeah, you're
this
right.
Is when I
Parody is
usually,
a
this is usually when I turn to
Marissa,
Marissa, who's
right,
good at these
right,
things.
right.
But I'm sure she's going to say it's a parody.
Also, when's the last time anybody used a koozie?
Another good question. Although we do have left of center koozies here that aren't apparently
we're not-
selling.
that we're not
Thanks,
using.
Steve. Thanks, Steve.
All right. So, and last but not least on this great issue, we have a council person from Southern Indiana that sparked outrage after proclaiming that he's a white male council person, Republican. Not that it matters, but it does. Okay, because you have to
Wait,
decide.
he didn't proclaim that. He already was.
No, he is a Republican. And the reason I'm telling you that is you have to decide for yourself whether this person is being real or if he's being facetious to make a point as a Republican. This white male council person, Republican
From Indiana. Yeah.
has come out
Where's
recently
he from?
as a lesbian woman of color. He says he's now living his life as his true self. He is an Indian woman and now the shit hit the fan as soon as he made this announcement.
Delaware County, which is where Muncie is.
He doubled down on it recently. John, you want to hit play?
Yeah, let's play this news report. And I just want to let everyone know as you watch this, they have to take this seriously because that's how much of a meme America has
Well, and
become.
that's your point, I think, John, right? That
Yeah.
you've been trying to make. Yep.
Councilman is coming out as transgender and a woman of color. Delaware County Councilman Ryan Webb announced that he now identifies as an Indian American woman. Since that announcement, he's received some support, but a lot of backlash, many calling him childish, despicable, even calling for things like execution. In a statement Webb gave to ITMate, he says, quote, "It is unfortunate that I cannot simply be given the same space and respect to explore my identity that so many of those targeting me demand for themselves."
The tone.
Yeah.
She's being completely serious because that's just where we're at.
She has to be.
She has to be.
Right.
Everyone knows this is crazy.
They had a
This is-
before and after picture that you couldn't appreciate if you're streaming
Oh.
right now. The before and after picture had a before picture, and the after picture is exactly the same. It's exactly the same picture.
I mean, it you could see how people would be very angry at this guy for doing this, but at the same time, it's very, very interesting to me that he's bringing the issue out this way, because it really makes everybody scratch their head and say, like,
how do we handle
why
this?
are we being so serious about this? This guy's fucking with us, and we have to take it seriously.
Agree.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's interesting.
So, but like, the GOP is using this wedge issue, and they're going to blast it in our faces, and they're going to use it to kick Democrats' ass across the board. And
They're going to try to.
Our Democratic leaders in Congress voted 100% in support of,
Something that should have been left to the NCAA, in my opinion.
something that probably, maybe, how about this? If I was in there, I would have abstained. How about everybody abstains? All the Republicans vote for it. Every Democrat abstains.
Well, we all know it's not going to go to the Senate.
It's not going to go to the
not
Senate.
gonna
It's
get
never
heard in
going
the
to be
Senate.
signed by the president.
It
was a stunt, and we fell for it.
on a wedge issue, right?
We fell for it.
Yes, they
and we
forced
always
We
vote.
fell for it.
Yeah.
We ate it. We're getting pulled up to the boat right now. We did exactly what they wanted to do. Now every congressman that campaigns has to talk about that vote. And you're going into union halls and saying, I support this. I think your daughter should have to compete against a biologically born male. That's the vote that our congressman and every Democratic congressman has to defend.
Yeah.
And we have to defend it. And it has repercussions, by the way. Because
So state races.
we're going to
and
have Senate candidate
rep
in Indiana
candidates,
next
yeah.
year. We're going to have a governor's candidate next year, and they're going to have to defend that stupid vote.
Because the GOP is very good at putting these wedge issues
Why
out
can't
in
they
the public
vote
and make
abstain?
it.
Why can't they all abstain, Kev? We're all there. We're not participating in this mockery.
And give a statement about how you
Right.
support,
Of
know,
course.
non-discrimination.
But this
and,
isn't going to go anywhere. This isn't for real. There's no real intent behind this.
Yeah,
So.
it's-
I still disagree. You guys are really hammering on they're doing it. They're starting this. I don't think that's
John,
true
they
at all.
brought it to a vote.
I think this is a response to this stuff being shoved down our throat.
Yeah.
And there's so many facets of this we haven't even got into.
But John, I think that if they are shoving it, if they are doing what Kevin and I think they're doing, the GOP, they're being smart politicians.
and they
Because-
have in the past on wedge issues.
And I
They've
think
done this
America,
before.
I hate to say this, I think that America feels the same way that GOP does on this. And when I say America, 75% of Americans feel the way the GOP does on that issue, in my opinion, which means that every Democratic congressman that voted for the way they did is going against the overwhelming majority of how Americans feel on that issue. That's how I feel. We made a mistake.
John Bowditch, I will get you a Lockpod koozie.
We made a mistake. All right, let's
some
move
ads.
forward. Did I keep my job, Kevin?
I think you did.
I
think that
was
it.
being the
I
voice
think
of
you got
moderation.
you got a new job.
Thank
You're
you.
a moderator.
Jill and I were.
Yes, you're never the moderator.
I was definitely. Jill and I were definitely keeping you two in line. You two freaking extremists.
I just think it's an interesting.
Too extreme.
yeah. Yeah.
See, John, we've been called political hacks and extremists, all in the same, together. By the way,
All right, let's move forward. Let's do some ads. We'll come back. We'll close out the show. So, Byway Brewing. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and an outside patio. Our brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, or corporate parties. Byway is conveniently located just off 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. For more information, check out bywaybrewing.beer.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give us a call and schedule your consultation today with somebody who's in court and at the jail every day. And I know that for a fact because John has been in court all week. Call John Cantrell at 219-5544-LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
Rogers Roofing. When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business. Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 54 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com, 219-933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
Are you facing legal challenges and don't know where to turn? Who are you going to call? Ku Klux. Do you need representation buying or selling real estate? Who are you going to call? Ku Klux. Do you need help forming your business? Who are you going to call? Ku Klux. Did you get injured in a car crash or at your job? Who are you going to call? Ku Klux. No matter what your legal issue is, call Ku Klux Law at 219-671-6347 for a free consultation. Hablamos Español.
Seems like you're getting that every time. Go figure.
I know, right?
Ku Klux Kiss.
Ku Klux.
Yes, you got it now.
You got the last one.
Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and under budget. Misprint's experience in technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions and metal business cards. Rick Baltonsberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and Hammond. Misprint Printing. Thank you to all of our sponsors.
Thank you to our sponsors.
Season 9 sponsors.
All right.
So many this
I know.
season.
We're doing good.
Let's
We are rolling in the
transition.
dough.
We are like real.
Like Scrooge McDuck,
Like that.
bathing in it.
I like that.
We must have hundreds of thousands in the bank because we haven't spent jack. Even our taxes, we cover ourselves on taxes.
Yeah,
bullshit.
individually, yes.
This
I'm
is
sitting on a milk crate back here.
Kevin, geopolitical news. Kevin's update.
We're transitioning
yeah, man. I
into,
like
Are we?
it.
Oh,
into
I see what you did
into
there.
foreign affairs.
All right, let's go.
Boy, there's been some very interesting Russian-Ukrainian stuff going on this week, I thought, including what I would characterize as a poof of smoke or like a bad Roman candle over the Kremlin that the Russians have characterized as a drone attack on Vladimir Putin, even though he wasn't there. So here's a video of that. I don't know if anyone's seen this. Here it is. It was what?
It almost looks fake.
Dude, that's a firework.
Look at how it comes down from
That's
the
a
sky.
firework. That's a firework.
Look at that.
Look at
like what? And by the way,
It would hit the building if they were trying to.
exactly.
Why would
I
they
want to see a
stop?
rocket go through the roof.
Then take responsibility.
Yes.
I'm not giving Ukraine credit for
It, like-
missing.
it, like-
Ukraine they destroyed a bridge. You think they can't? If they're gonna bomb the Kremlin, they're gonna fail.
or
a
at
bunch
least
of
like
bullshit.
have
It's
a
a big
rocket
target.
or something. What was that?
It was a
It was like a
firework.
poof of smoke.
I woke up yesterday. It was like breaking assassination attempt on Putin. I watched the video. It's like a Roman candle.
Dude, I've seen worse than that in Hammond on a 4th of
Agree.
July. A lot worse.
Agree.
A lot worse.
Like things that cause fires at least.
Yeah, man.
This didn't do anything.
This is bullshit.
And by the way, now I was reading now that some of the Russian, I think the former Russian president is saying this is the basis to go kill Zelensky.
Yeah, exactly. So you mean they
It doesn't
did it?
take much.
they've been
they
trying
put
to kill
this
him
out.
anyway, haven't they?
Well,
Like they haven't been trying
lately.
How
I
do you-
know.
I mean,
Yeah,
it seems like I wouldn't be
lately.
telling people where I was if I was Zelensky.
but I know, and he's in. I think he's in Finland. But anyway, okay. And so this is
Kevin,
interesting
you can't
too.
tell people where he's at.
Yeah,
dude.
If he dies in
His
Finland,
death's on your
it's
head.
going to be my fault.
we know for
Blood
a
on
fact,
my hands.
Lockpod goes all over the world. We've seen it happen multiple
you know
times.
what? You're right.
Yeah.
It's
There
been
you
in
go.
Russia even.
If freaking
Yeah.
Zelensky goes down,
oh man,
it's your fault.
And I like Zelensky.
I do too.
I think you have to take over the country if that happens. Like if you're the cause of his death.
Oh God.
That's
Oh,
the
my
line
goodness.
of success.
Kevin in
Yeah.
charge of the Ukrainian war. That's
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that.
They'd
so
all
this
start
was,
learning Russian if that happened.
So this also came out, and it just was amazing to me.
I got Kevin
that.
coughing.
I just
It's a
got
good
that.
one if Kevin starts coughing.
That was good. So this just goes to show you how obviously there's deep emotions in this war, and understandably because a lot of people are dying and cities are being destroyed and countries are being just also destroyed. But here's an incident at the Black Sea Economic Cooperation Parliamentary Assembly.
Yeah.
So a lot of countries got together around the Black Sea to kind of talk about issues, and it has a very nice title, Cooperation Parliamentary Assembly.
So Russia's there along with
Ukraine.
That's
Both there.
interesting.
Both
a lot of cooperation
there.
between those two countries.
So this was a Russian member of the a member of the Russian delegation at this event, and here's what happened. Older fella, and he comes up to the Ukraine.
So he grabs the Ukrainian flag and walks off. Okay, hold on. Stop real quick. John.
Whoa,
Back that up.
fisticuffs.
Back
So
that
hold
up.
it. Let's describe for the audience that's listening. Okay, so the Russian member of the delegation walks up to the Ukrainian flag and grabs the flag, rips it off, and starts walking away with the Ukrainian flag. And a gentleman from the Ukrainian delegation chases this old man down. This guy's like 65 to 70 years old, and starts beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, and
they're all dressed in suits, and it's all very fancy plays. And this guy's getting the shit beat out of him by a Ukrainian
and I
for
heard
stealing the flag.
And I heard him. Oh, here we go.
Here he is. Flag stolen. Here comes the guy. Pummel.
Catch these hands.
And he rips the flag back from him. And then he calls him Russian filth, is what I heard the translation.
They
Good for
also
him.
ruined that woman's selfie
Yeah.
at the beginning of the video.
Wow.
funny.
That's something, huh?
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
man.
it. I like it when old dudes start beating the shit out of each other.
The guy that beat the heck
Yeah,
out of
he
the
was
Russian
definitely younger.
was like 40.
But like, okay, I would beat the shit out of.
Oh my God! If
and
he's
it
some
would be
guy like a
fun.
Russian grabbed an
You
American
have
flag.
free reign to punch somebody.
yeah.
When you're in a suit,
Hell yeah!
does not. I've never been to an event where I've seen people throw fisticuffs in suits.
But
like
it
that.
makes it better, right?
Oh, yeah, it's,
totally.
well, I mean, it goes to show you how. I think it goes to show you how intense the it all is. So, let's go. So, where do you want to go?
I want to go a failure of government.
No?
I love failure of government.
All right.
I mean, if it wasn't for failure of government, Lockpot wouldn't be in existence, let's
Mm-hmm.
be honest, right? So let's talk about the Indiana General Assembly and a bill. See, there's the thing about General Assembly that sucks from my perspective as a Democrat is we have a lot of great ideas, we Democrats. And, of course, we have a lot of ideas that aren't going to get passed, okay? Because we're Democrats and we're completely outnumbered and we're a super minority. So they don't even need Democrats there to do business, right? So it's not very often you get things done as a Democrat. You'll see people do it, like Representative Andrade gets things passed. I know Representative Harris got something passed this year. Representative Melton got a big bill passed this year. Democrats do get stuff done, but for the most part, 95% of what you proposed has no chance in hell, okay? Unfortunately, this year, and what Republicans got to keep in mind is every once in a while, Democrats pass bills that are really smart.
Well, and the
proposed
Republicans in the
bills.
Senate agreed. This passed 49-0 in the Senate. 49-0.
Wow.
Want to talk about it?
49-0.
Senate Bill 424. It's a bill. It's first off, anybody that knows where we are right by Lake Michigan, which is gorgeous. We have gorgeous beaches in the summertime. We have literally, it's like you live in California. All right, your Lake Michigan's, other than being extremely cold, it's gorgeous,
I'd argue
beautiful.
some of the beaches are
beautiful
nicer.
beaches. You got skyline of Chicago
Got
right
the
there,
dunes.
all around the dunes in Indiana, and and unfortunately, we also get a lot of kids to those beaches that they're either drinking and inebriated or they don't know how to swim.
And they don't respect the lake. I think one thing that people forget, and I try to remind my kids all the time, is the lake is not a pool. The lake is not a river. The lake is a pretty dangerous place. It has a lot of riptides. And people, unfortunately, every year we see in the local newspaper so-and-so drowned
how
in
many
Lake
die?
Michigan.
How many
I
every
want to
summer?
say
5?
you're into between 5 and 10, I would say,
Every year.
Every
It
year.
always happens. It's usually out-of-towners, by the way, because all the locals know this is a dangerous lake.
Yep.
All right? Because it does have crazy
Enjoy
riptides.
it, but be respectful.
Yeah, man. Everybody that lives where we live knows this is a dangerous place. But we get tons of tourists that come through this area in that time of year, and it's usually people from other parts of the country
Agreed.
or from downtown Chicago that maybe don't know how to swim as well.
And it's different by the way, the lake is different on the Chicago side. Like when you're in Lincoln Park, that lake is a lot different than it is on the dunes. The riptides are
because we're on the southern edge.
Absolutely.
So anyway, Rodney Paul is a senator from Chesterton whose district encompasses the south tip of Lake Michigan.
Great guy.
He's a sponsor of this bill. He's a great guy. He's an attorney. He's a great senator. He's done a great job. He sponsors this bill, and it passes the Senate 49-0. And there's only 50 members of the Senate.
And there's 10
one of them
Democrats?
wasn't
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 10 Democrats. So he gets all of his colleagues to go along with this bill. The bill says basically it requires life rings to be placed every 100 yards or something like that. I'm going off the top of my head.
If you have a pier or you have a marina in Lake Michigan, whether privately or publicly owned, publicly owned pier or marina in Lake Michigan, you have to make sure to have life rings available.
Right.
And it has some other things like, you have to pay for the life rings, make them available. You can have other, you can upgrade from life rings to life poles, other things like that. There's some reporting requirements of a drowning. All sounds like pretty good stuff, right?
Right. And then it passes 49-0. We already said that. The bill is named after some kid that died, basically. And usually we do stuff like that. And obviously the family follows it closely because the family wants it to pass. And they feel that if we had these life rings, that maybe their kid wouldn't have drowned, which is a total possibility.
And I saw a quote here from gentleman Dave Benjamin, who's part of the Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project, who you've had out in the city of Hammond at the marina. And he mentioned it's not if someone will drown in Lake Michigan in Indiana this summer, but when someone will drown.
Right.
And then we will have a question if life rings would have made a difference in saving the life for each drowning incident because this bill didn't pass.
So when you're talking about the state of Indiana and you're talking about installing life rings at all, piers and all areas, we're not talking about a lot of money in the overall scheme of things.
Not at all.
What, like $100,000? Maybe.
Maybe.
$100,000?
Not even. I think that's high.
That's like
I'm
the
thinking
penny
like
that's
25 grand.
That's on like a penny that's on the floorboard of your car, and
For
you
the
don't
state
even
of
notice
Indiana,
it.
right.
For the state of Indiana, it is so simple for them to do this. Okay, and it passes the Indiana Senate 49-0. It goes over to the House, and they freaking kill it.
Why?
They kill it.
Does anyone know why?
Doesn't even come out of committee.
Doesn't even come out of committee, John.
Like, how does it?
Do we know why?
No. Probably because they didn't get stroked the right way, or you didn't take me to Roots Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Oh, that Rodney Paul disrespected me last session. Some stupid shit, right?
Or maybe like we're too busy with transgender bills,
Right,
and books,
banning books,
and like it's
right?
like, come on.
This is one that will save a life. And now they're like, well, just come back next year.
Yes.
Well, maybe next year the Senate feels differently. Maybe next year the House feels the same way. And then I guarantee you there's going to be at least one person this summer that drowns that could have been saved if this bill
By a
passes.
life ring,
There'll be at least one that drowns that could have been saved had the House, Indiana House, not got off its ass.
It kind of reminds me of how you see, and I'm going to butcher the acronym, I can't remember it, but the defibrillators, like around City Hall and around other public places, and talk about, and the whole idea of having defibrillators around. Do you know how many lives those save?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same kind of thing. Defibrillators, life rings. Why wouldn't you want to have them? Oh, this is
Look
good
at
because
who is in the studio.
I want to see a real Spanish speaker talk about Cinco de Mayo. This is what I want.
Eileen.
Bring that microphone over, Eileen.
Hi, Eileen.
Bring it right.
Buenos dias.
Oh,
Hey.
see,
Can
it
you
even
hear me
sounds
good?
better.
Like this. I'm putting you on TV. Here. Watch.
See, it lines up.
Line these up right here. You
Look
pull
what
right
Mayor
up
did
to
for
it.
you.
Look at
Aw,
that.
thank you, Mayor.
Nice to see you, Eileen.
Nice to see
Welcome
you.
to
Good
Lockpod.
morning.
This
How do
your
we
first-
say Happy Cinco de Mayo?
Feliz Cinco de Mayo.
See?
You were right on
I
it.
know I was.
And what's going on in Cinco de Mayo in the city of Hammond today?
So we have a Cinco de Mayo fiesta tonight. Am I supposed to be
Maybe,
looking
yeah.
at a camera?
No,
can look
you're
at-
fine.
just be natural.
Oh, I'm
we have
having-
multiple angles. So.
We're having a Cinco de Mayo fiesta tonight at the Hammond Civic Center, 5 to 9 p.m.
We got a camera in this thing. It's going right up your nose right now, too.
Stop.
Yeah.
I've been sick. I have bronchitis
Really?
right now.
I
Yeah.
know. We got
Perfect.
We got a unique view.
Is that
Why is she
contagious?
sitting next to me? She's recovering from
Bronchitis
sickness.
isn't contagious.
Really?
At some point,
Not-
I thought I had pneumonia,
Yeah.
and I don't. So
Because
I'm
we
good.
have Lockpod masks. I could put you in one. It's cool.
I haven't received one.
Because
Have you
we're
got a
not
one's
Lockpod
given me
koozie? How about a
one.
Lockpod
Right.
koozie?
I want one.
All
Yeah,
right.
good.
I have one?
Done.
I'll give you we'll give you a hoodie too on the way out. Just like,
Perfect.
hey,
I'll be all set.
hey,
I want one more Cinco de Mayo question.
Sure.
Who's the food tonight and what's being served?
So tonight, food is by El Gran Taco. They're in East Chicago.
El Gran Taco. How do you say is serving? La comida. I don't
La
know.
comida,
No, it's how do you say it's serving?
cena,
Cena.
El Camino's serving the food tonight.
servido. Servido por El Gran Taco.
Wow.
El Gran
Sounds
Taco,
so
East
good.
Chicago. It's right on the boulevard there.
They're great.
Yeah.
They do
They
such
did
a great
last year
job
too,
for
right?
us. Yes, they've
Right.
been doing actually for the last few years now.
Nice.
Mariachis?
Mariachi. We have Mariachi Estrellas de Chicago tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
And DJ Dale.
Who else? Oh, nice. So we're gonna have some music.
Yeah,
Nice.
it'll be a good time. So
Yeah,
everyone
be
come
good.
on
How
out.
much is that?
It's $15.
$15, and you get
15
food
for-
and drink. Or
Yeah.
you have to pay
no,
for your own drinks.
Drinks are not included.
But
so,
like you get all your dinner with that,
yeah,
and entertainment, obviously.
and entertainment.
Wow.
That's a good deal.
So 15.
And the food is great, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Yeah.
always
Unbelievable.
great.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
It is exciting.
15 for adults and $5 for kids. So
You
it's a good deal.
Let me ask you a fast question.
Oh.
Yes.
You excited?
I'm super excited.
Yeah. I hope this new model pays off the way it does. The way I hope we do, because I really want to start testing us. Like if this works well this year with the Lil Wayne concert, then next year it'll be somebody that's bigger. And Saturday won't always be rap night, because I keep saying Dave Matthews. Like I think that if this works, we could start experimenting with bigger names, much bigger.
And for ticket shows.
For ticketed shows,
Yeah.
so that Saturday would always be a ticketed show, and then every other night would be free. you know?
FestivaloftheLakes.com for all your fest information and to buy tickets and VIP experience passes.
It's not
Yeah.
even close right now. The sales of Lil Wayne versus every other night, right?
Not even close. Yeah, I
It's
think
not even a competition. Like Lil Wayne is a straight up
Thousands,
concert. Thousands of tickets
thousands,
are going out for
thousands,
Lil
yes.
Wayne, whereas we're in the hundreds for all the other
Well,
bands.
which is, by the way, kind of where we usually
Yeah.
are at
Yeah,
this point.
at
It's not
this
like it's like,
point.
oh my
Lil
God,
Wayne's
it's the other
a concert.
Right.
Like that's the thing, everybody. Lil Wayne is a concert.
It's a ticketed show.
It's a ticketed show.
The other shows you are still, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Please, if you don't want to buy a VIP experience pass, you are still able to come out and enjoy free of charge to the festival grounds, free admission. So don't forget that.
Yeah, it's going to be a great 5-day festival. I think we have a great lineup this year.
We do.
Awesome.
I'm psyched about Stone Temple Pilots.
It's going to be great. Brothers Osborne is going to be. I
don't know much
was at a
about them.
meeting. John Wright. We were at a meeting yesterday, and people were playing the Brothers Osborne tunes.
Really?
I was like, man, this is going to be good.
Nice.
Really good. And Ja Rule and Ashanti.
Yeah.
You know what?
Mesmerize.
Yes,
my
Mesmerize is my
favorite-
song now.
Sunday night, you know me.
Yeah, El Flaco?
that's my favorite.
Is
It's
it?
Flaco, so I'm super
He's
excited
badass?
to see him.
Why
yeah.
is that your
Is he selling?
favorite?
He's selling. Yeah, he's selling.
Yeah, why is it your favorite?
Have you ever been to
You know,
Eileen's office?
fun
It's all
fact-
Mexican music.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
You walk in and you're hearing like music just blasting.
Nice. That's your job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually,
It
it
is.
is. Yeah.
I always send local bands your way. You notice that?
I
Local bands
do.
come up to me. I'm like,
I
go
am.
see
I
Eileen,
am being
Civic Center.
spammed right now. Well, I shouldn't say spammed, right? Because I store it in a folder.
You're an important person.
And then the committee reviews it.
You're an
so-
important person.
You get.
I actually
like
had
to
a-
think about
it
it
just
like
means
that.
that he's saying,
I
get a
don't
hold of
wanna-
Eileen.
Yeah. That's
When
their
they come up to
easy
me,
way
I'm like,
out.
wink. Like, I'm not. They give me tapes. I'm like, wink. Go
I
to
know.
the Civic Center.
I received text messages and emails. I seen Mayor Tom the other day.
And
He
he
wanted
said,
me to contact you.
I'd
so
say that every time.
yeah.
It's because
Awesome.
you're an important person.
You're
And
kind
you're
of a
gonna make-
big deal.
You're going to
Am
make the best
I?
Head,
decisions.
head of
you.
special events,
I bet a
like
lot of
Cinco de
people
Mayo
don't think
tonight.
Yeah.
Eileen, thanks for coming in. Mayor's going to wrap it up now. Obviously, festivallakes.com for anything you need festival-wise, and I'm sure we'll have you on before the fest
Yes.
again.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Gracias.
Thanks. Good
Oh,
to see you.
good job, John.
Muchas
Thank you.
gracias.
Buen dia.
Buen dia.
Yeah,
Que tengan un buen dia.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Lockpod, that's why we're Indiana's most dangerous podcast. Obviously, not here to insult anybody. We're just trying to talk about topics that you don't hear on other stations. So
Sometimes we insult people, though.
we
Let's
do
be honest.
unintentionally. Well, yeah,
Each other.
like certain at-large candidates for council.
Literally
Yeah.
just 2 days ago, we
Oh, I
insulted
caught
somebody.
that on my way here.
That was pretty bad, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was
Just
bad,
say
but it was
yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Was
thank
it
you.
honest?
It was honest.
You know
I
about
wouldn't
that guy.
expect anything else.
A window
Yeah.
into the mayor's soul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He
A
lost.
brain, at least.
If I had just a small part of that loss, I'm proud of myself. So good to see you, Eileen. Thanks, Jill, for being here today. Also, it's good to see you again. Thanks, John Vez, for another flawless performance. Kevin Smith, great job. Thanks for taking the third segment and coming from the locomotive. That's why you listen to Indiana's Most Dangerous Podcast. Welcome to Lockpod. We will see